Mount Rainier is a beast of a mountain, towering over Washington State at 14,411 feet. It's beautiful, wild, and a serious draw for climbers. Every year, people from all over show up hoping to stand on its summit, but Rainier doesn't make it easy. In 2014, 6 climbers set out to take on one of the mountain's toughest routes, Liberty Ridge. It's steep, icy, and dangerous. The kind of climb only experienced mountaineers attempt. These 6 weren't rookies. They knew what they were doing. But something went terribly wrong. On May 31st, after radio silence for days, officials confirmed the worst. All 6 climbers were presumed dead. They likely fell more than 3,000 feet. Just like that, gone. The news hit hard. For the families, the climbing community, and even folks who just admire these kinds of adventures from afar. It was one of the deadliest accidents Rainier had seen in decades. This story isn't just about what happened on that mountain. It's about risk, passion, and the fine line between adventure and tragedy. Mount Rainier looks like something out of a postcard, but up close, it's a whole different story. It's big and covered in ice and snow year-round. The weather can flip in minutes. One second it's calm, the next, you're in whiteout conditions. It's not the kind of mountain you just hike up. You have to train, plan, and take it seriously. One of the toughest ways to the top is a route called Liberty Ridge. It's beautiful but brutal. Narrow ridges, steep slopes, falling ice. It's the kind of climb that makes even seasoned mountaineers nervous. And that's exactly why some are drawn to it. For experienced climbers, Liberty Ridge is kind of like the ultimate test. Not many people take that route, but those who do usually know what they're doing. The team that headed up in 2014, they had the skills. They'd done big climbs before. They respected the mountain, but Rainier doesn't care how good you are. Up there, even one mistake, or one twist of bad luck, can change everything. It was late May, 2014. 6 climbers showed up at Mount Rainier, ready to take on Liberty Ridge. The group included 2 guides from Alpine Ascents International, one of the top guiding companies out there, and 4 clients who'd signed on for the adventure of a lifetime. Everyone climbing that day had some solid climbing experience. One of them was an Intel corporation, vice president. Another had done big climbs overseas, people who get things done when they put their mind to it. This was a serious group, and they were in good hands. They started their climb on May 26th. Everything seemed normal. The weather was decent, they were well equipped, and they were making steady progress up the mountain. They were last heard from on May 28th. After that, nothing, no radio calls, no check-ins, no signals, just silence. At first, people hoped they were just delayed or waiting out bad weather. But as the hours turned into days, that hope started to fade. By May 30th, the climbing team was overdue. Park rangers started getting nervous. These weren't amateurs. They were supposed to check in by now. Something was off. The weather had taken a bad turn. Wind, snow, and low visibility. Not unusual for Rainier, but bad timing for anyone stuck on the mountain. Rangers couldn't get helicopters in right away, so they had to wait it out. And that waiting? Torture for the families. On May 31st, a helicopter finally made it through the weather. What the crew saw was devastating. Gear was scattered down the slope. Ropes were torn, tangled. Pieces of equipment lay strewn across a steep, icy drop beneath Liberty Ridge. It looked like the team had fallen, hard. Yes, around 3,000 feet, maybe more. There were no signs of life, just the cold, quiet remains of something that had gone terribly wrong. At that point, everything shifted. This wasn't a rescue anymore. The mountain had already answered that question. The wreckage told the story. Lines stretched across the ice. Debris spread far below where they should have been. No one could survive a fall like that. The mission was no longer about saving lives. It was about facing loss. But even getting close to that area was too dangerous. The terrain was brutal: slick ice, rockfall zones, avalanche risks everywhere. It wasn't just about honoring the dead anymore, it was about keeping the living safe. And sometimes, the mountain just doesn't let you in. In the end, the decision was heartbreaking but clear. They couldn't recover the bodies. The mountain would keep them. For the families, it was a second kind of loss. No return, no goodbye, just the echo of what had happened up there. Sometimes the hardest part isn't what you lose, it's what you never get back. With no survivors and no eyewitnesses, figuring out exactly what happened was tough, but the clues left behind told enough of the story. Rangers believed the team had set up camp high on Liberty Ridge, probably around 12,800 feet. That's when things likely went sideways. A massive fall, more than half a mile straight down, took all 6 climbers off the face of the mountain. Was it a cornice collapse? Did a hidden slab of snow give out beneath them? No one can say for sure, but whatever happened, it was fast and final. One moment they were climbing, the next they were gone. It's chilling to think about. These climbers had the right gear, the right training, and the right mindset. But mountains don't care. All it takes is one mistake, or none at all, just bad luck in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the brutal truth of big mountains. News of the accident spread fast, first through the climbing community, then across the country. 6 lives lost on one of the toughest routes in the US. It hit hard. Friends, family, fellow climbers, they all waited for updates that never came. Vigils were held. Tributes poured in online. Photos, memories, stories about who they were. Not just climbers, but parents, partners, co-workers, friends, people with lives waiting for them back home. For many in the mountaineering world, this one felt personal. These were their kind of people, smart, prepared, passionate, and still, they didn't make it back. It left everyone asking the same question. If this could happen to them, who's really safe up there? The tragedy didn't just shake up everyone's confidence. It forced a lot of climbers to stop and think about risk, about why they do this, and about what it really means when you chase something that could kill you. After the news settled, something else crept in: reflection. Not just from those who knew the climbers, but from the entire climbing world. It's one thing to hear about a fall. It's another to realize just how thin the line is between adventure and tragedy. This team did everything right. They had experienced guides. They chose a tough route, yes, but they weren't being reckless. They weren't showing off or chasing thrills. They were out there for the challenge, for the connection, for the quiet meaning that comes with doing something hard, together. But even then they didn't return. That hit people deeply. It was a painful reminder that mountains don't care how ready you are, that sometimes, no matter how well you plan, things just go wrong. For a while, Liberty Ridge saw fewer climbers. Some stayed away completely. Alpine ascents paused guided climbs on the route. The mountain hadn't changed, but the way people looked at it had. Families of the lost climbers spoke out, not with blame, but with grace. They shared stories, talked about their loved ones' passion for the outdoors, for challenge, for living fully. The grief was heavy, but so was the pride. These weren't lives wasted. These were lives lived fully, even if they ended too soon. Today, the story still lingers on the mountain. Climbers pass Liberty Ridge and remember. Some leave flags, others just stop and look up, quietly. The 2014 tragedy didn't end with a rescue. There were no recovered bodies. It ended with something else: perspective. The kind that sticks with you. Mountains are wild. They don't follow our rules, and they don't owe us anything. Yet people keep climbing. Not because we forget the risk, but because for some, the risk gives life its edge. It sharpens everything: the fear, the focus, the meaning. That edge pulls people toward peaks like Rainier, even knowing the cost. Mount Rainier stood before those 6 climbers, calm and cold, like it always does. And it's still standing now.